Hey everybody out there, hope you're well. I thought I'd do some more videos for the clubs. I was thinking, what should I do really? But I thought I'd throw in a couple of really heavy rock songs for anyone who wants to kind of rock out on their acoustic, or you've got a electric that you can borrow. I thought I'd do a really cool song by a really heavy metal band called Metallica. They're amazing, and this is called Enter Sandman. So obviously it's very heavy metal. I absolutely love this song because it's proper chuggy and metally, and we'll just go through some of the basics. And guys, don't feel like you have to do the whole song, which you probably want to because it's amazing, but we'll go through the main little riff today and some of the power chords, and I'll leave that with you, and then I'll bring another video in later on. Cheers. Okay, so here we go guys, we're just going to go through this main riff bit and see what you think. So in the paperwork, the start of it's a bit weird. It kind of says that you're going to play your naught and your two together like that, and then after that you're just going to play a naught on its own here, so it's like that, and then you slide your finger up to the seventh, so like that. Naturally I want to just do the two and the naught together twice, so like this, and then slide it up to the 7. But it's actually saying to play the 2 in the naught, then the naught on its own at the top, and then to slide up on a string that you haven't actually hit. So I would, if I were you, just when you look at the paper it says 2 naught and then it's got a naught on its own, just imagine that naught on its own has just got a 2 underneath it. It's just going to go like this. Yeah? Use your second finger there, because then when you go up to this 7th fret, you're sliding that up, so you're going 2 naughts, so the naught at the top, the 2 here, twice, and you slide it up. So when you slide up, you're not taking your finger off the string as you go up. If you think about it, when you hit a string and you take your finger off, the sound goes. So if you take your finger off as you go up, it's going to go. You know, imagine if you go, you've taken your finger off the string, so you've got to keep it on as you slide up. It might be a bit painful, so like that. Just try that a few times. So you're going, and that's when the kind of raw, awesome metal comes from. And I do a little bit of a warble, like marching orcs in Lord of the Rings or something. So you do your 2 hits on the 2nd fret on this A string, and you're going to go up with your 2nd, because then when you go to the 6th fret on the top string, you got your 1st finger there waiting. So it's just like this. So 2nd finger going up to the 7th, 1st finger on the top string on the 6th and the 5. And when you do that slide, you've actually got to really press down hard, and it's quite a kind of like, quite an immediate slide, because you've got to get that sound. If you don't, you'll lose it, and all you'll get is the top string kind of overcrowding the sound. So that's it. I do a little kind of bend on the 6 and the 7. Actually, it's mainly just on the 5th, actually, so don't do it on the 6th. You're going to go. Okay, let's try that at home. Okay, so after you've done that riff, you actually repeat it. But what you do is when you get to the 5, and you've done the 6 and 5, yeah, you're about to go back to this, you actually do 1 nought to kind of fill that space so your finger can get back again. So it's like this. Nought, and then back to the 2 nought again. Listen to that again. Nought. Hit the top string. So it's the top string you're hitting. Yeah? So just spend some really good time on this little riff and getting really into it. You want to be playing it, then playing that open string. Imagine that open string is just really filling out that time for you to get your finger back. So that's the main kind of bit for you to enjoy for now. So here we go again. Bit slower, and then I'll speed it up. So here we go. So you're on that 2 on the 2nd fret, and you're playing the top string and that together. Get that really nice rock sound, playing it twice. Then you're going up to the 6, up to the 7, sorry. So just take the reverb off my guitar. Okay, so that's the riff. But then you hit an open before you get back to do it again. So you actually play that riff 3 times. So here's normal speed. Okay, so work on that. Then we've got some power chords to learn. And what power chords are is they're kind of like the main kind of chunky, bassy parts of a chord. So what I mean by that is when you play your G chord, your main kind of beefy sound of that comes from the top strings. So the top strings are the bassy sounds. So what we've got here is we play a G5, which you just play the first 2 strings on the guitar. There's an F sharp 5 in here. Okay, so we've got those 2. So 5, 3. So what you're doing is you're putting your first finger on the top string on the 3rd fret, and then you've got to stretch and get your 3rd finger on the 5th fret on the net string down, like this. Now you might find that really hard, and it is hard at the start. The thing you've got to do, which I've always banged on about lots of the lessons, is you've got to have room around here. The way you get room around here is you don't have your thumb high, because if you have your thumb high, it kind of takes away all this space. You've got to keep the thumb low, so you've got that room. And if I show you where my thumb is, can you see it there? It's kind of middle or a bit lower. So I've got that room there for my fingers to stretch properly. So just try that. It might hurt your wrist a bit because you're not used to stretching your fingers, but just try it. So that's your G5. You really got to press down. Remember, what's really important is hooky fingers and get your finger right next to the fret. Here, on the 5th, right next to this 5th fret. This one here. And then move that shape down to 2/4, F sharp 5. Okay, so once you've spent some really nice time working on those 2 kind of power chords, G5, which is on 3rd and 5th, and then F sharp 5, which is on 2 and 4, I want you to start practicing jumping between them. So just doing stuff like this. So what you've got to do, and be really careful of, look how low my thumb is, it really helps having it there, is when you change, your shape can't kind of slip around. It's got to be locked in. So what I mean is you don't want to be doing this, and then suddenly, oh, your fingers aren't in the right place. It's gone across 2 frets now. It's got to be across 3. Look, 1, 2, 3. 3 to 5. So get used to that. Make sure you're pressing down nicely. Okay? Once you've got used to that, you can start working on this bit that we've got to play. Now, it is a bit tricky, this bit, but it's really good fun. So, it's basically, imagine you've just done your main riff. You do it 3 times. Now, then you're going to hit the open on the top string. Then you're going to go to your 5. So what you're doing is you're going 5, 3. Then you take your fingers off to do an open. See that? Then you go down to your F sharp 5. So it's G5. So you do that. You could actually play this, take your first finger off to do the open, leaving this one on so it can just move down. I mean, I prefer to take it off. So like that. Then open here. Then to your F sharp 5. Try that. It might sound awful at the start. You might think, oh, I can't do this. But with guitar, you just got to keep doing it until you get it. Have a break, come back. So now you're doing that, open, then you go to F sharp 5, then you do another open on the top, and then you hit F sharp 5 again. Look. So that one, open on the top string, then F sharp 5, then open on that top string, then back to the F sharp 5. Then after that, if you've got really good at that, you go back to the 5-3. Now try that, get good at that. And then after that, you go back down again to the F sharp 5. So you've got G5, open string, F sharp 5, open string, F sharp 5, G5 again, F sharp 5. So you got. That's why it's really important to have your thumb, like I've got mine, quite low. You've got to have that room, especially on a nylon string or a classical that you might have got. So yeah, so you do that. And then you finish on that. On that one. So you got. So about keeping that shape locked in between the frets so that it doesn't squeeze up over 2. Remember, 5-3, you're going across 3 frets, you're just not using that 4th one. And it's the same when you go to here, you're not using the 3rd. So, okay. And then what's interesting is when you hit that one at the end, that almost becomes the first bit of the main riff when you repeat it. It sounds confusing, but what I mean is, look at this. I mean, in a way, you could look at this riff that we're doing, this chunky bit, this kind of G5 bit, that it actually finishes there, and that you start the riff again. It's really weird. I somehow think when you do that too, it's at the end. It's the end bit of that, but it's also the start. It doesn't really matter, but basically, without confusing you too much, just goes. And you go into it again. So let me now play to you what I want you to try and learn. Here we go. So here we go. So 3 times on the riff, followed by that crazy thing, that crazy bit we did, that other chunky bit we did, and then followed by going in again on those that main riff a bit. So here we go. Okay, so give that a go. Remember, 3 times on that main riff. 1, 2, 3, and 2. And then back into the riff again. If you can get into there on your second finger, then that'll help you keep position. So. And just try and do that twice round and see how you do. Cheers.